Whenever there is a youth rise up in a country, those particular people or those particular country will never love this person. There is somebody like this Ghanaian young man called Avram Bemushe. There are lots. Ghanaians don't even value this young man. We have somebody in South Africa, Julius Malema. It's so sad that our own brothers in South Africa do not like Malema. Who did this to us? Interpersonal indoctrination to hit our own. That's the challenge we have in the political system. To the extent that most of Africans don't move by ideas, they are moved by their stomach. That is why when you are telling the truth, they will never believe in you unless you are a politician. Yes. So whenever there is a youth rise up in a continent, in a particular country, the people will never appreciate this person until the person died. I can give you so much history about this. Kwame Nkrumah was a number one. But do you know there are people of today who still speak ill about Kwame Nkrumah? Others are saying Kwame Nkrumah should have handled Ghana back to the Europeans then. Others think that the independence we had is violence. Yes. Some of them have their reasons. The reason being that since we had this independence, we've never actually gotten something benefit that we can even boast of. Most of the things that we boast of as Africans, most of it are from this our freedom fighters long ago. So we are championing, telling the world how good we are from the perspective of our old leaders who left a good legacy for Africa. So most of the appreciations that Africa has been gotten from outside Africa is from our old leaders, but not our current leaders. So most people think that it would have been best when they are still here. Understand that it's so painful that you call yourself that you're free, but in reality, it's never been so. I believe that the problem of Africa is the youth of Africa. Yes. Our government has able to play this kind of game. Whenever there's an interest case of a country and the citizens are really aware of what's happening, they want to see justice, they want to know how the situation will end. Do you know what they will do? They will link up with some of the celebrities and they will create something to divert the youth attention to their issue. So check in your country. Whenever there is something happening which is an interest of the nation or the interest of the people, you realize that a certain particular circumstances will pop up just to draw the attention so that the citizen will not focus much attention on it. It can even take a month. Then they will forget about that interest, that particular issue, interest of the nation. Then they'll focus on a certain celebrity. Yes. They know the way of playing the game or diverting the youth's attention from the national interest. Do you know that nowadays, when there is a military takeover, most people jubilate, most people appreciate, like most people are really happy in Africa. Have you realized that? Have we begin to ask ourselves questions? Why? Why it seems to appear that people are now like hoping that military should rather rule the country? We are not here to promote violence. We are not here to promote the military to take over whatever. No. But we are here to support a good cause. It's so painful that over 50 years of independence, we are still going for people for loans. So what Trump is doing currently, some of the policies Trump is doing currently, is an awakening call for Africans. Either you hit him or not, but the fact is that it's an awakening message for Africans to wake up. Either you believe it or not. I know I don't support that. People have to deport whatever be the case. I'm not supporting this because at the end of the day, people must eat. If you have a country or continent where you feel so safe, I don't think you'll be promoted, you'll be so happy to go and live with other continents where they'll be treating you the way you don't want. But this is the case, some of our people run there, go there because of the situation we have in Africa. So the problem of Africa right now is the leaders who are not fixing things right. So you realize that most people feel like going there to suffer rather than staying in Africa to suffer because of some of the initiatives that those supposed to make sure that things are put right for each and everyone to enjoy. They are not doing it right. Currently in Ghana, this ORA team has they have discovered that some dollars have been packed in a particular room. They don't even know. They are now on the investigation in Ghana here to find out where from these sources. They are able to find some dollars, not only dollars, some gold bars that they are even trying to find out these dollars. I mean, a lot. The investigation is still on process. Ask yourself why. Who are those? Because the constitution of Africa, it seems like a cobweb. It doesn't catch the big elephants. It doesn't catch the big animals. It only catches the small animals. That's our constitution in Africa is like. When it only catches the poor people and leave the rich. I can give an example when Kwame A+ now an MP, then send a message that he really knew some of the people who are in connivance of those who killed these investigative journalists of the Tiger Eye, Ahmed Swale. He has some evidence. Immediately, within some days, he was invited to come to prove. But an MP can go on radio station. This particular thing I was even speaking about, Kwame A+ make a post that was on social media, but he was invited, right? But an MP can go on radio station to speak about this. They've never tried to find out. Are we creating a permanent continent or a temporary continent? This is what I'm speaking about. It's not only limited in Ghana here. There are some of the similar things like this going on in some of the African countries. So what Trump is doing currently is an awakening message for Africans. Either you hate him or not, but still he's telling us, let's develop our continent. I'm just praying that Trump to also put measures that no African continent, no African country leaders should have the right to go and invest in their banks. They will all stay in this continent and build it. It's so sad that we live in such precious continent, but we can't actually benefit the most of the things. If you have to build an interchange, we have to call the Chinese to come. If you have to have this potable water, we have to call the Germans. We have to look for US aid. And now they have cancelled the aid. Those who are giving the fish are not ready to give you the fish. So you will learn how to fish by force. This is how the message of Trump simply means. Our own people are using democracy to stab their own people. That's the problem we have in Africa. Our own people are using the democracy to steal money, to loot the continent. We were here and there, isn't a minister something Dapa packed dollars in her room. DR Congo, when there is now that there is still issues going on in DR Congo, we were here when we get that there was isn't a ministers or some of the leaders over there pack monies inside some of the rooms. They are hiding under democracy and killing their own people. My dear people, my dear sisters of Africa, I think it's about time that we wake up. It's about the time that we have to question what is happening in the country. As a youth of Africa, you have every right. You have every right to know what is happening in the country. Question it. The fact about the situation we are having in Africa is that either you believe it or not, when there is something happening currently, we are not praying for that. When something happens currently, our politician will fly like a butterfly and go abroad and leave you and I here, and we will suffer. We will suffer. What is happening in DR Congo? How many of their leaders, how many of their family are victims of the situation? What is happening in DR Congo? How many of the politician family are victims of this? It's only the poor. So my dear brothers and sisters, if your only problem is when some people are speaking about the happening in the current government, and your problem is, hey, why are you speaking about my party? Why are you speaking about my party? We are not here for partisan issues. We are here to talk for the things to fix right. That is the problem we have in Africa. Because whenever the youth rise up, or whenever people are speaking the ill of the current government, then people are tagging that person to come from opposition. And in Africa, it's a game that we all know that always, sometimes, the opposition always have a good mind. But when you give them the power, they do otherwise. Have you realized that? The opposition always have good decisions, good ideas. When they are criticizing the government, you yourself, ordinary Ghanaian or ordinary African, you realize, oh yeah, what they are saying is true now. Oh yeah, they have good initiative, they have good plans. Give them the power and see. Give them the power and see the same people. Give them the power. That is the problem here we have in Africa. So we are not here to talk about party issue. We are here to talk for the things to fix right. So when the so-called democracy, people don't see the benefit of the democracy, they will prefer the military more than the democracy. Look at Mali, look at Niger, look at Burkina. With a few years, let me just take Burkina for example. Few years, what Burkina is doing is far better than some of the African countries that we call them the democratic governors. That does not mean democracy is not good. Perfect for people to choose their own leader they want. But these people end up of looting the same people who push them there. That is the problem we have. When they are acting like a boss, our leaders are acting like a boss. Meanwhile, they are not a boss. We are the master, and they are our servants. They are not our boss. But what do we see? We are rather the servants, and they are the boss. But meanwhile, we are the masters and they are our servants. They are going to serve us. Whenever you vote for an African leader, the next day is that you start celebrating because he knows really that he's going to lose the people. He's going to lose the people very well. So he's very happy. But you're supposed to be sad because you have carried a burden of a country. You have carried a burden of over 30 million people, over 1.3 billion people. But they jubilate because they know what they are going to do. That is a challenge we have in Africa. So I think that now that people are jubilating, they are embracing, they think that people are not getting fed up of democracy because of how some of the African leaders are practicing democracy in what we call it so-called democracy in Africa. It doesn't link with any link with democracy. If democracy means taking the power to loot your own people, then that is not democracy, my people. I'm sorry, but that is not democracy. My dear brothers and sisters in Africa, people are not celebrating the revolutionary leaders. Why? Because they are thinking about the people. What Burkina has done is telling Africans that we can develop Africa when we rise up again. I believe that we can do better, and together we'll make Africa great again. My name is Samba Kingsley John. Simply call me SKJ, the poet, the voice of Africa. I'm a teacher, I'm a poet, I'm a freelance journalist. I'm also CEO of Africa Youth Partnership. Thank you so much, my brothers.